I guess I was naive to assume that the internet could actually have a nuanced takeaway from the Lindsey Clancy trial, like maybe discussing the seriousness of postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, and how it can cause seemingly loving, doting mothers to take the lives of their children. But no, of course not, because the TikTok detectives are on it. It's 2026 and we are living in hell. And what do they want? Oh, they want a Scooby-Doo level type of twist or flip in the story where someone rips a mask off and it's Patrick Clancy underneath. Like, completely turned it into a spectacle, completely shifted the conversation from something that would actually be useful and helpful to talk about at a larger scale, and instead, let's sensationalize it, baby. Let's turn it into a whodunit.
The Lindsey Clancy defenders are actually anti-woman. If you're sitting here telling me that women are so emotional, so hormonal, that they can't stop themselves from unaliving their own children, why should they be allowed to vote? For that matter, why should they be allowed to make any decisions? You are basically validating everything misogynists have ever said about women. Like, why should a woman be allowed to drive a car, or hold public office, or have a job, or God forbid own a firearm if this is what hormones do to her? Personally, I think women are adults. I think women can and should be held accountable when they end lives or harm
What's
others.
that?
I think even though there may be mental health or other medical issues going on, you are still ultimately responsible for the lives that you affect. Basically, every single serial killer that you ever heard of, every single one in history has had a bad childhood, mental health issues, you name it. But I have never seen women log on and go, same Ted Bundy. Because Ted Bundy was a grown adult who we are all comfortable holding accountable for his own actions. If you believe women are adults, if you believe they should have all the same rights as men and they are just as capable and that hormones don't rule us, then that also applies when they do bad things. Because if women are truly ruled by their hormones, if they can truly just go off the wire and go nuts and unalive 3 children, one after the other, then The Handmaid's Tale is the obvious next step.
You know, my initial plan in regards to the topic of Lindsey Clancy was to come back to it once the trial was officially over and we find out what happens to this lady. That way, I could come back with I's dotted and T's crossed, and for anyone who's going to try to disagree, you're going to have to take it up with somebody who cares, because I won't dedicate time to fan fiction or stupid people trying to compare this to Trey Reed in an effort to understand anything other than what happened in the courtroom. And as it's gone on, you're seeing people question, how come this isn't happening? How come that isn't happening? It is, just not the way you want, because you want a different outcome, but that's not what this court proceeding is about. I understand that there's a long list of people dedicated to saying Patrick is guilty, and they want Patrick to somehow turn into the defense and the prosecutor and all these different things, but that's not how this works. They've gone 3 years combing through information, and they didn't even bother to do what you want. You're late to the party on the Lindsey Clancy case. That's why you're running around saying, how come Patrick isn't being investigated? It's been 3 long years. You don't get to change the story just because you arrived late.
Clancy was investigated. I'm going to say it again. Patrick Clancy was investigated. Okay? Okay. I literally just woke up to so many comments stating, but Patrick was never investigated. Yeah, he was. Yes, he absolutely was. The police did not just take his word for what happened. The search warrant affidavits that are available online, that are publicly accessible to everybody, it's like 299 pages, very clearly details exactly what they did. Patrick was formally interviewed by Massachusetts State Police and Duxbury Police at 8:40 p.m. on January 24th, only hours after the children were discovered. The interview was audio recorded as well. Investigators questioned him about Lindsey's mental state, her health history, medications, what happened that evening, where he went, what he encountered when he returned home, and where he had been throughout the day. Patrick also consented to police photographing his face, clothing, and hands, and that's significant because investigators were documenting his physical condition, his clothing, contemporaneously, rather than simply accepting his story and then sending him home from the hospital. Now, once they did this, then they started checking his timeline, and Patrick told investigators that Lindsey ordered food from 3V and that he left to pick it up, stopped at CVS. Police didn't just simply take his word for it, okay? A trooper used Apple Maps to calculate the travel times between the Clancy residence, CVS, and 3V. The affidavit records approximately 3 minutes from the house to CVS and then 8 minutes from CVS to 3V, 9 minutes from 3V back to the house. Police then physically went to 3V that same night to obtain surveillance footage. They spoke with the manager, assessed the surveillance system, and confirmed that its date and time were accurate. The video shows Patrick entering 3V at 5:54 and 14 seconds, waiting in line, looking at his phone, approaching the hostess desk, and then paying for the order at 5:55 and 1 second. Investigators also obtained the receipt. The order had been placed at 5:10, and then Patrick paid with an American Express card. Police also went to CV that night and obtained the surveillance footage. They again confirmed the accuracy of the surveillance system's date and time. The footage shows Patrick entering CVS at 5:32 and 32 seconds, going to the aisle where the children's medication is located, appearing to use his phone, reaching the register at 5:36 and 12 seconds, and then leaving the store at 5:37 and 8 seconds. The surveillance footage was downloaded to a USB drive and then placed into evidence. So, no. Just no. Investigators simply did not just say Patrick said he was at CVS in 3V, sounds good to us. That's not how these things work. They interviewed him, recorded that interview, documented physical appearance and clothing, reconstructed his travel timelines, went to both of the businesses, interviewed personnel, checked timestamps, reviewed surveillance footage, obtained documentary evidence, and preserved the surveillance evidence. We saw it at trial already. And then remember what the warrant itself says. Investigators were specifically looking for trace evidence such as blood, skin, saliva, hair, fibers, fingerprints, palm prints, shoe prints, any cuts, scrapes, anything that may be out of the ordinary that wouldn't match up with said story. Along with clothing, footwear, electronic records, computers, phones, financial records, telephone records, cutting instruments, ligatures, evidence that could assist in identifying the perpetrator or confirming said perpetrator. Guys, there is an enormous, and I mean an enormous difference between saying Patrick was not ultimately identified as a perpetrator and saying Patrick was never investigated. A huge difference. And the first is consistent with the record. The second is demonstrably false. Investigators checked out Patrick's account against any independent evidence, which is more than we can say about what happened in the Karen Reed case and multiple other high-profile cases in Massachusetts lately. Let's be honest. They actually used crime scene tape. So be so fucking for real right now.
And I saw the rally or protest in support of Lindsey Clancy. I've seen, probably at this point, the $1 million raised in support of Lindsey Clancy, and I didn't really want to come back to it until it was over.
There's a lot of sick and vile people in this world, and the worst part about being judged by a jury of your peers is that y'all are dumb as fuck. Lindsey Clancy admitted to murdering her 3 children. Meanwhile, you bitches donated over $900,000 to her. You're so male-centered that you're absolving a woman of accountability for a heinous crime that she's not even denying to commit, just so that you can ignorantly spew hate against an innocent man. I can't believe some of the things I'm seeing, especially from actual mothers.
I don't even know what can be said at this point. A woman, a mother, murders her own children. Think about how brutal that is. It's not even like she shot him. And I know some people might say, well, what difference does it make? Here's the difference. You have to take your children, one as young as 8 months, and strangle each of them for 4 minutes. You know how long 4 minutes is? 3 of them. Takes an exercise band, wraps it around an 8-month-old infant's neck, and strangles her own child for 4 minutes, watching the child struggle and gasp for air, holding it down and overpowering it. And then she did it to the next child. And then she did it to the next child. And people are supporting the woman. They're sympathetic to this. They're raising money for her. They're going out with pink shirts. They got the matching shirts and their signs, protesting in favor. How much more sick can a society possibly be?
The same women who defend Lindsey Clancy would also defend Caroline Bryant's false accusation against Emmett Till. And if postpartum depression truly is this horrifically insane issue that the Clancy defenders are making it out to be, then every man should be given sole custody until a woman is deemed fit to be a mother. PPD is a very real problem that should not be co-opted and delegitimized for y'all's degenerate agendas that you want to repackage in a fake feminist tone. It's quite disgusting.
If there's anything I've learned from this Lindsey Clancy trial, mate, it's that we need to bring back the fucking Salem witch trials. Here we have the Baby Killers Club meeting guys throwing up their strangling hands. Everybody put up your strangling hands. Fuck them kids. Fuck them kids. Times like this are really eye-opening because you realise what people are actually like. From this day forward, I'm going to be using this Lindsey Clancy shit as a litmus test to see who in my life are fucking psychopaths that condone murder. Hey, mate, what'd you think about the Lindsey Clancy shit? Oh, I think she was, went through a hard thing. Nah, round them up. Anyone who thinks like that should be put in a fucking titanium cube and lowered into the Marianas Trench. When a man comes home from war with PTSD and shoots his family dead, we don't stop to consider what star sign he has or what he might have been going through at the time. No, we chuck him in jail because he killed his family. All I've got to say is burn the witch, mate. Alright, peace.
But my algorithm decided to play a little trick on me. It's been a little bit too peaceful over these past few days, so it decided to throw me a little bit of stupid. And the stupid in question is what's been referred to by the Lindsey Clancy fan fanatics as the Bratz doll video, where a woman dedicates up to 10 minutes of her time trying to prove Patrick Clancy is the one who killed the kids and not Lindsey, and her rationale or thought process all has to do with creating a diorama filled with cardboard box material and Bratz dolls. And don't worry, we're not dedicating any amount of time to listening to that because I'm just gonna skip to the end. It's nothing more than this woman thinking this happened, assuming that happened, and not really knowing without any proper verification of how this woman ended up bleeding in this direction and that direction, and then out of the window, where she just randomly accuses Patrick of dumping her out of the window. Now, obviously, it's a ludicrous claim, something that some people should not be dedicating actual brain power to unless you're willing to waste your own time. But for some odd reason, I know the reason, it's because man bad, they want this video sent to Lindsey Clancy's lawyers to help her. Mind you, these lawyers have closed their argument and are now gonna start going through the end proceedings of this trial starting this coming week.
So I know I'm gonna get so much hate for this, but I don't give a fuck. Lindsey Clancy didn't do it. Like, she didn't do it. And the fact that it got this far, it gives me absolutely no hope in the justice system or investigators. Like, holy fuck, she didn't do it. It is so painfully obvious. That's all I have to say. Like, what the...
If you've been following the Lindsey Clancy trial, you need to hear this. I found a girl on Facebook by the name of Millie who put a reenactment together using a shoebox and Bratz dolls. Look it up and see what she unrevealed. Because this is going to put a huge break in the case right now, and Reddington needs to see it.
So it's a little bit too late for you to be coming up with fan fiction in an effort to, I guess, prove Lindsey didn't do it because man bad. And I think the more disturbing part is that people are willingly ignoring what's happening around them. They're dedicated to ignoring everything going on around them because nothing else makes sense to them other than saying man bad. Lindsey Clancy admits to killing her 3 children. Her own lawyers don't deny she did it, but say she should not be held criminally responsible for her actions, arguing that Lindsey was suffering from postpartum psychosis and extreme mental illness at the time. She is suing her healthcare providers, alleging medical malpractice for their failure in adequately diagnosing and treating her. And for some reason, with that being known and this being the entire process throughout 3 years and hiring lawyers and hoping that they could help her out, these motherfuckers are so dedicated to their own shit and how much they want everybody to smell it.
Lindsey Clancy has no chance in winning this trial, and she's going to jail. You know why? Because she's a woman.
Shut your goddamn ass up!
We forget that the world hates women. The fact that her husband even has a thought that he didn't do it, I have no hope for our judicial system. And surprise, surprise, there's only men in the comments defending Patrick. Oh God, man, I hate men too. I have no hope for any woman on trial against any man in the court. If it's a man judge, a man jury, a man prosecutor, I just don't have any hope. And you know, when it comes to women and any kind of postpartum, maternity, oh, they don't even want to hear that. Remember, we have people in those big high government offices telling women what they should do with their body, trying to control our bodies. So do we really think that they're gonna let this poor woman off? You know what? I have this much hope that she's gonna get off. I wish her the best, but I really don't have any hope.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
My new vetting process for if I want to date a man, first date question I'm always going to be asking him is, do you think that Lindsey Clancy should go to jail for what she did? And if that man says yes, I'm getting up and walking out right then and there. I cannot spend the rest of my life with someone who thinks that that woman is guilty and deserves jail.
But even with people deciding that 10 minutes of a random woman waving Bratz dolls in their face and saying, ooh, I think about it, would be enough for some of them, others are looking at that and saying a lot of you bitches are stupid.
You guys realize you're insane. You're certifiable. He has been a lawyer for a very long time. He's also been preparing this case for years. This crime didn't happen last week, all right? You haven't cracked the case. You haven't discovered something that he hasn't already analyzed the crap out of. He's not going to listen to a bunch of bored wine moms sliding into his DMs, okay? You are not the main character. You have way too much main character energy. You need supporting character energy. If that. You're not even a supporting character, okay? This doesn't involve you. Your research is nothing. It's fueled by your desire to be in a Lifetime movie or something. Let him lawyer, okay? He's a lawyer, let him lawyer.
I need the people with an actual brain cell in the Lindsey Clancy trial to come forward right now. After watching the Bratz doll recreation, my jaw is on the floor. The comments, every single one of them says, oh my gosh, you solved the case. Did you send this to Reddington? Oh my God, this is the smartest thing I've ever seen. You solved it. You did it. This is amazing. This is it. This is the answer. Patrick did it. I understand Lindsey Clancy is a white woman who's using the words postpartum depression, and that's going to trigger a lot of moms out there. It's going to trigger moms to defend her automatically before even knowing if she was really in a psychosis. They're going to line up outside of the courtroom. They're going to send her GoFundMe money, and if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But she didn't have just 1 or 2 chances to stop this. She had 3. 3 children were murdered at the hands of their mother, and you guys want to find another victim because she's using the words postpartum. It's sickening. Patrick Clancy did not do this. You can watch that shoebox recreation with the dolls all you want, and if you think for 1 second after watching that Patrick did this, we are not the same. Patrick did not do this. As much as you want another victim, sometimes there's just not always a more conspiracy than you want there to be. Sometimes the answers are the answers. Patrick's 911 call wasn't even released because it is so harrowing the public can't even hear it. I want us to believe that that's just acting because he already was the criminal mastermind who offed his children and then framed his wife for it and got away and did that all without getting 1 splatter of blood on him. And the biggest question of all, why did he leave her alive? There's no reason that he would leave her alive if he was framing her for killing the children. He would have just acted like he walked in and she was dead and she did that to the children. Why would he ever chance risking leaving her alive? Doesn't make sense. Patrick did not do this. I hate to break it to you.
And I think at the end of it, that's what it comes down to. Over these past number of weeks, almost a full month at this point, if not a full month, we've noticed several people thinking that they know better than actual professionals. Yes, you can talk to me about the justice system. You could talk to me about corrupt institutions and corrupt cops and corrupt judges, all of these things. But sometimes it isn't as nefarious as you hope it to be. Not everything is the grand conspiracy theory. Not everything is something where everyone's out to get you or someone who thinks just like you. Not everything is a means for you to hold your child and say, same Lindsey, letting me know that you have it in your mind that you're going to kill that kid at some point. because either you are or you're better than Lindsey because Lindsey killed her kids, and you holding your baby up saying same Lindsey caused me to be a little bit concerned. It's a lot of people stepping over a lot of processes to just skip to their own ending because it would make them feel better. But you feeling better means fucking nothing. What matters is the ongoing court trial that pertains to one woman and her mental state, not you sitting comfortably at home looking for anybody to blame, whether it be Patrick or apparently his best friend or his brother, because that's another one people are trying to get off the ground. And it just boils down to a lot of you motherfuckers being bored because you ain't got nothing else to talk about. So in the grand scheme, I would say sit back and wait, but you're not going to accept what happens after, whether if she's locked up in a mental institution forever or she's locked in jail for the rest of her fucking life. An honest conversation could have, and I'd make the subtle argument should have, been discussed, but because stupid people were allowed to usurp any real conversation to just say, fuck it, man, bad, here's the stupid direction we are on the path towards. And it ain't nobody's fault but a lot of people who are willing to consider stupid shit rather than actual information. So allow me to tell you what you need to be told. A lot of you motherfuckers are stupid, and you're trying really hard to excuse a murder because you say man bad. In the meantime, we shall wait and see what the fate of Lindsey is, and at the end of it, I'm certain it will get stupider once we reach that point.
You know I drowned my kids, right? What? You never told me that. Yeah, something just came over me and I drove them in the lake and just walked away. Sure, they were screaming, but I knew that I just needed to focus on me. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta be selfish and do what's best for you. Women don't do that enough. I mean, my mother didn't agree with my decision, but you can't live your life for the approval of others.